Lyford Boulevard here in Elizabeth City. It's Centre Stage. And here's your host, Andrew Russo.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Centre Stage. I'm your host, Andrew Russo. Thanks for joining us once again at the Shedley Theatre in the heart of Elizabeth, South Australia. Another huge show lined up for you all, so let's give it up for the Shedley Band. In tonight's episode, Matt Tarrant will join me on stage. Matt is an Adelaide magician and mentalist. He started magic much later in life, but has fast become one of the top magicians in Australia. Matt's success has mainly been through the Adelaide Fringe, in which has seen him sell over 10,000 tickets during the festival. Matt and I will talk everything from working an office job, the transition to performing as a magician, and appearing on a reality TV show. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Matt Tarrant. Oh, what an entrance!
G'day,
Matt!
how are you? Yeah.
How you going?
Phantom of Shedley.
Phantom of Shedley!
Yeah.
Talk about a magic trick.
It's been a tough few months for performers, so we have to now live in the theatres, unfortunately. Yeah.
Oh, mate. Well, thanks for coming on.
My pleasure, mate. How you been?
Yeah, I'm very well. How about yourself? How's things?
It's been an interesting few months, I think, for most people, but
Yep.
for performers, it's been particularly interesting. But yeah, no, look, it's been fine. We're doing as best as we can in the situation, and yeah, it's been just an interesting kind of different couple of months, to be honest.
You got to perform at the Adelaide Fringe this year, right before COVID-19. Tell us all about that.
It was a great year. In fact, it was probably our best year
Yeah.
up until that last week. And I think every performer at the Fringe would say that COVID kind of started to kick in that last week. And the government made an announcement on the Friday that from the following Monday, all events would be cancelled, basically.
Yeah,
so
okay.
we just got in, but that last week, I think audiences probably, they stopped buying tickets. So we were kind of seeing, this ticket flow every single day, and then that last week just didn't happen. People stopped buying.
What is it that you love about the Adelaide Fringe?
I mean, it's in my backyard, isn't it? So I'm really fortunate. I mean, as a Adelaide performer, we get so many opportunities here. So the Adelaide Fringe is the biggest of those, obviously. Being a local, I think locals love supporting locals.
Yeah.
So, I'm really fortunate. I do get, a lot of people coming out to see my shows, and people that have seen my shows now for 4, 5, 6, 7 years. And I get to hear their thoughts on the new show, what they like, what they don't like, and all those things, and just kind of learn from that. So, yeah, it's just my favourite time of the year.
Where did the love of magic start for you? Tell us all about your journey.
It was actually at the Fringe.
Right.
So my dad took me to see this guy called Rudy Kobe, who's this Las Vegas magician. And I was around 7 or 8 years of age, and I just fell in love with magic. So it wasn't until I was maybe 18 years of age, working at a bank, started to do some tricks just for like impressing people at parties. And I went from there, mate.
Yeah,
So
right.
I kind of started to enjoy it, started to do some corporate shows, and then after a few years I went, I might just give this a go. I might just try to become a magician, and left the job at the bank, had nothing planned, had no gigs lined up,
Right,
and just
okay.
went, well, I've thrown myself in the deep end. I'm either
So
going to
what year is this when
sink.
you've left the bank? Tell us, paint that picture for us.
I reckon it was around 2015.
Okay.
So 5 years ago now.
Yeah.
So really not that long ago,
Yeah.
I guess, in the grand scheme of things.
So talking about 2016, Australian Survivor.
Yeah.
Well, let's start with, why did you want to go on Australian Survivor?
Well, I just love Survivor. I was a super fan from back in the day, and I watched every season, and I always wanted to do either The Amazing Race or Survivor.
Okay.
So when they both came out, I applied for both.
Yep.
Did like the quickest of videos you could do, and went, I have a good feeling about this,
Yep.
and it just went from there.
You're on the island for 51.
51 days. So I think the show itself, I was out there for 63 or so.
Yep.
So there was 63 days, no contact with anyone. Didn't talk to my wife, didn't
Wow.
speak to my parents, my family. They had no idea how I was. They didn't get any snippets. They don't get updates on how I'm doing. They just
Man,
know
that's tough.
I'm doing something.
Let's talk a bit about, we were due to have you guys here in May. When I say you guys, I mean yourself and Isaac.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about what that show was going to be, because obviously our plans are to still have you at some point.
Yeah, so Isaac Lomman, who's a great friend of mine and he's a really fantastic comedic hypnotist, we've been working together for a lot of different things for several years now. We just always kind of I think we're both both considered like, you know, magicians, I guess, in the States. So we always get bungled together. And, you know, you came to us, I think, and we spoke about doing a show together. And, you know, but I think both our audiences are quite similar, you know, and they're similar-ish kind of shows, I guess, in a way. So we're looking to put together a show which was called Mind Blown, and it was going to be basically, and it still will be, 2 separate shows, but we might potentially do a few little bits and pieces together. But it kind of a take on some of my shows for the past few years, some of my best things and some new things, and similar for Isaac, kind of almost a best of show, but both of our shows with maybe some sort of combination. So will be a lot of fun whenever we can get to do it.
What do you classify as your best or fun trick that you like?
There's a trick that I made a couple of years ago, and it's still in my show now. It's called Remix, which is like a card trick, but it's card basically almost spelling out songs. So there's almost like a DJ mix that I've put together of a bunch of different songs that all have either words or numbers in their lyrics, and basically I've got a couple of decks of cards, and it's just constantly shuffled, constantly cut, and the cards are revealed. And when I speak out the trick, it always sounds awful, but I think that's probably the audience's favourite trick. And when you see it live, it's just like, it's pretty impressive. It's pretty cool and it's fun. But it's also really hard. So it goes wrong heaps. And like, you know, I've had to fix it live before, and you know, the remix is just playing. Like, we can't stop that, it plays. So I'm there trying to fix the order of cards and trying to work out what's happened, where I'm at live, while the audience I'm trying to make them not know it's gone wrong.
Wow.
It's full on. But yeah, I love it. It's good fun.
Outside of performing, talk a bit about your ambassador stuff. What else do you do?
Yeah, so ambassador for Port Adelaide. So that's probably my big one. Big fan of the club, and I've, you know, loved Port Adelaide since I was a kid. So, you know, I was really stoked to be on board with them, and I have been for a number of years now, so it's been good fun. But a bunch of other charities, so like Barkuma, which is a fantastic SA charity which helps disabled, disadvantaged kids to get work, basically, and that's you know, something that I'm really passionate about. My mum's a principal at a special school, and you know, it's been something I've really loved to get involved in, and you know, I'd quite often do their graduation ceremonies. And
oh wow, that's great.
And you know, I try to support as much as I can. You know, Hutt Street Centre, I do a lot of work with those guys as well. Where you know, they're fantastic, and you know, we've raised a bit of money for those guys in the past, and you know, a bunch of different things. You know, you know, I'm really fortunate that I've had a lot of companies come to me and say, we want your help with this and this, and I'm always pretty open to it. So yeah, you know, that's one of the fortunate things about, you know, being in the public light or whatever. You do get these, you know, great opportunities to give a little bit back. So I try to as much as I can.
That's excellent. So before you go, hopefully 2020, we can see you at some point. Yeah. If it's not just in the Shedley, I mean in general. Yeah. But tell us, where can people find out more information about your shows and who you are and all that kind of stuff? Yeah,
so website's Matt Tarrant, or matt-tarrant.com, but I'm all over Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'm everywhere basically, so you search my name, you better find me somewhere, I'm sure. But yeah, I mean, I've got a bunch of things coming up hopefully this year. We're looking to put together a mentoring program as well, to help like established performers to, I guess, make their business in the arts a bit stronger, and help them to kind of put together some, you know, marketing and that sort of stuff for their shows. So that'll come probably later this year. And then I've also got a not-for-profit run talent agency, basically, which is actually called Mind Blown as well. So every year we train and develop some young performers to help them to become professional performers, magic or otherwise. And you know, that's probably something that I'm going to be able to put a bit more time into now as well with what's going on. So when I'm on stage next, I don't know, hopefully soon, but for the time being, pretty happy playing FIFA and doing some other stuff. So it's been a few interesting months.
Well, Matt, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it. I hope that we can have you at some point later this year in 2020, fingers crossed. But all the best from everyone here at the Shedley Theatre, and thanks very much.
Cheers, mate. I appreciate it. I'll go back to my little hidey hole.
Maybe we'll jump back in a minute. We hope you've enjoyed another episode of Centre Stage. Thank you for joining us at the Shedley Theatre. As they say in show business, break a leg. Good night.